Hello and welcome to another cup of coffee with me, Sandy. Today I have got a guest who has got many parts to him, in as much as he is a poet, a writer, he's got the most magnificent voice, and he's also an incredible jeweler. And now, talking about jewelry, this is not his, but have a look at my cup of coffee with a coffee bean and a spoon and my coffee earrings. And these all come from, I speak about my girlfriend, Gina. Gina does exist. And you know what? Today is your day. I'm actually going to show you a picture of my friend, Gina. The gentleman who I am going to be interviewing today, and I'm absolutely so excited. He is from Gibraltar, and his name is David Bentata. And I hope I have pronounced that correctly. And as I said, he's also this wonderful jeweler. David, thank you for being with me on A Cup of Coffee. It has taken a long time. I've tried desperately to get hold of you, but you are such a busy man. But besides that, you have got such a wealth of knowledge and life about so much. I am so excited. Hello.
Thank you for inviting me, and my apologies for the delay. I was hacked because Facebook and computers, forget it. And I'm clear now, so it's very nice to meet you and to chat with you.
Yeah, and you have got such an amazing life, had an amazing life, and still got an amazing life. And I'm just going to give my viewers just a little snippet of about you, and then you're going to continue, okay?
Okay.
You left school when you were very young, at 14 years old, and you went to work part-time, I think, for your father, who had a clothing shop in Gibraltar.
Yes, I had to. It was the done thing in those days. You worked for your dad. That's it.
You had no choice.
None at all. Well, I wanted to be a bullfighter.
Really?
Well, actually, not really. I had done a bit of bullfighting, but I just wanted to rub my dad the wrong way. I don't want to be in the shop with you. I want to be a bullfighter.
In those
it
days,
did not go down well in the family.
No, I'm sure not. But then at 18, you conscripted and you won top shooting trophy. And what was that about?
Well, I started work with my dad, and then we fought with each other because I would tell him, Dad, you don't know how to run a business. And I think I was 16 by then. He took me to Barclays Bank, and in those days, there was God and the manager of Barclays Bank just below. I didn't know that they were friends. And the manager said, come to my office. And I went, big mahogany desk and everything. And he started asking me about bills of lading, letters of credit, promissory notes. I was telling you, I was glad I had brown trousers. I didn't know what he was talking about. And when I went back to the shop, my father had disappeared for a whole week. He disappeared. He just left a note saying, the collector is coming to pay you have to pay in £317, 15 shillings and sixpence, and there's no money. So do something about it. I was scrabbling like crazy, just to make sales. And I was telling the shop assistants, who were all older than me, no, we've got to do something. When at last I got it, I was, excuse me, I realized how serious business was. No more bullfighting, no more messing around. Business. And when I next looked up, it was 45 years later. I'd never stopped business.
My word. But you had many different kinds of businesses that I've not heard of a person starting his own credit card, card.
Well, what I did start was my own credit card in Gibraltar. Yes. At the time when only the people who didn't need a Barclay card could have one, So we started one called Teo card, because my shop was called Teo, the initials for the English Outfitters. So we
Wow.
ended up having 27 shops in Gibraltar accepting our card and over 350 clients.
And you were the
So
first.
it was busy. Oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes. And we
Amazing.
went from one shop to, at one point, I had 9 shops going.
And did you have any shops in Spain?
Yes, I had a Bentata shop in Algeciras. I had a sales shop in San Pedro de Alcántara called Razor. And in La Linea, then we went to what was Prica, which is today Carrefour. We ended up having 3 shops there.
But then in 205, you changed completely from the shops that you have had before. You started another shop. And what was that?
Jewellery. What happened was that I was feeling the pressure of the retail business in fashion. I was also feeling my age. I had lost my touch in the young fashion, and I realized this is not going to go much longer like this. So I thought, I'm finishing, closed down all the shops, sold what I could, and incidentally, I divorced for my second time that time, but one had nothing to do with the other. And then I went to Israel for a holiday, and I saw the jewelry, the silver jewelry in Israel, and it is completely from the left side. It's a different style of everything, and I was enamored with it. So I came back and I told my son, Asher, we're going to open a silver jewelry business. And he said, you know nothing about it, Dad. I said, great, I can't get any worse. I did 15 years with that, and I ended up with my own production, doing my own designs and my own ideas and everything.
You have been a silver jewelry designer for many years. And I must just show you, I don't know if you can see on the screen,
Oh, yes.
this piece of silver came, which
Yes.
is a frog, came from Israel.
Wow, very nice.
And it was an antique and it was given to me by a family member. And don't move your screen because I'm losing you.
Well, let me show you something.
Okay.
Can you see those photos?
I can see now. Stop, stop.
Those are some of the designs I did. Um, I started, with nothing and with an idea, and I actually started with one called the gratitude coin. I had seen the video about gratitude and being positive and all that, and I thought this is a great idea. The secrets. Have you heard of the secrets?
Yes.
Well, so I designed one coin, which was like a memento of it, called the gratitude coin. And that just flew off. I mean, we've sold about 3,000 pieces. And now my son is handling that on the website. But I also did other pieces for other people. And, word of mouth. Gibraltar is a small place. So uh, a friend of mine who is a vandal. He had gone to Greece with a holiday with his wife, and he chipped off a piece of one of the marble statues before they saw him, and he brought it, a little thing like that. And he said, David, oh, I know you're a designer. Yeah, right. Can you do something like this to remember with my wife? I said, okay, I did it. And I did a little pyramid on, and I gave it to him. He gave it to his wife. She loved it. The neighbor loved it. The neighbor came and said, can you do something for me? And that's how it started rolling.
Snowboard. Was that Amalite?
No,
Tell
that
me
was
about
just
Amalite.
amolite is, oh, that's a beautiful stone, which isn't really a stone, but it's actually a shell. A very good friend of mine came to the shop and said, David, have you ever done anything with amolite? I said, no. I made a mistake thinking it was like ammonite with the N. Amolite is actually the leftovers of huge snails that lived in a big lake, mostly in America. And over the years, this is prehistory, the shell gets crushed and then it comes up with a patina of color, which is absolutely beautiful. So I found who could sell me some, and then I did some designs with that. And gold and ammonites and amolites look terrific, far better than silver. Far better.
You have done a design that I want you to tell me about Shaddai, which is God shield me.
I've done several of those, several of them. Let's see if I can see have one. There's one that I did with Ammonite.
Okay, but
But
don't turn your back completely. If you could just
I'm
side
sorry, yeah, but
track.
it's difficult to get it. I just, because I'm not a designer, I am not an artist or anything. I have a clean slate to start drawing, and I'm not good with computers. I do it with a pencil and a rubber until I get it right. But when I get it right, I get it really right. And people come up to me and say, you know, have you do something original for me, something different. And everything that I was doing was different to what I was doing by buying it from established companies. So jewelry is something very particular. You like it or you don't like it. But if you like it, then you follow it. What is this guy going to bring up next? And then I started bringing other pieces. Um, when I did the Shaddai, some friends of mine came, Christian friends, and said, "Oh, one of them talking between themselves, oh, he could do one of Our Father," and the other one said, "No, he's Jewish, he can't do that." I said, "I can do that for you." And I did one with Our Father. The full. I went to a Christian school, Christian Brothers School, so I know the whole prayer, and I did it all in circles of silver and beautiful, and they were selling amazingly well.
Not only have you done jewelry like that, you have done something else. You are a writer and you are a poet. And a poet like I've never heard. I listened to a poem of yours called Dancing in Berlin.
Oh, it's
I
amazing,
did
isn't it?
not know whether to cry, laugh, or how to feel. It is one of the most beautiful poems that I have
Thank
heard.
you.
And your voice, as a broadcaster that I have been for a long time, your voice is something
Thank you.
so, so special. I don't know if you do voiceovers. If you don't, you are wasted in Gibraltar because you deserve to be doing voiceovers in Gibraltar.
Now you tell me, couldn't you have told me this 30 years ago? I
I
don't do voiceovers.
I didn't know you then, but you know what? There is a new boss at the television and radio station, and I'm actually going to use his name, James Niche, and he's an
Oh, yes.
ex-BBC man who I respect
Yes.
completely. And James, if you're watching this, grab David Bentata because this is a beautiful, beautiful, clear, warm voice.
Thank you. Thank you. But that one, Dancing in Berlin, came about because I thought, you know, everybody, the victor writes the history. But I thought, well, what about the victims? And I wanted to make it really biting. So I thought Berlin, because although I hated what the Germans did, but there were also Germans who died and who were hungry and who starved and who lost everything. So that is why I did Dancing in Berlin. And I did it with anger. It was one of my favorite, but some people have taken umbrage to that. They say, you know, how can you say that about the Germans? Actually, take a step beyond. It's not just the Germans. It's victims of any war, no matter how righteous a war. There are victims. Dancing in Berlin, you can't.
How do you get your ideas for writing, both writing generally and your poetry?
I have a notepad next to my night table and a pencil there because I wake up and I think of an idea, and I know that if I go back to sleep, I'll forget it in the morning, and I write down the ideas. And also, with the poetry, it's because of music. A poet is a musician who never learns to play an instrument. Instead, he listens to the music inside words and puts it together and makes a symphony.
Absolutely.
So this is how I do it. I listen to the rhythm, the cadence, the music inside words,
It's
and you put it in.
it's special, and there are not many people that I have met in my life who mix the two together as you have explained, but it is the rhythm of the words. Absolutely. A songwriter is just the same. You take any of the major songwriters in America, England, wherever. If there is the songwriter who starts first, and then there is the lyricist, and the two together come up with this wonderful, wonderful song.
That's right.
And that's exactly
That's
what
right.
you are doing with your voice.
I don't read poetry. I've never read a poetry book in my life. I have published my own poetry book because I find that when I do my recitals, I used to do them much more before. I would get up on stage and they say, "Oh, now we've got David Bentata with poetry," and you sing something like, "Oh shit!" They were saying, "No, guys, don't worry. You all love poetry if you like songs, because songs contain the poems inside." And then I would recite to them, and I can only write about what I feel. There is a saying in Spanish, "El dolor es el amigo del poeta." Pain is the poet's friend. Because when you have something really nice happen to you, you go out with your friends and have a party, but when you got something really sad and really painful, you come inside yourself. And that's when the feelings come out, and that's when you start writing. The poem that I have here for you is because of my divorce, my first divorce. The
Okay.
turmoil of it.
And
Uh,
it's called
it's called Divorcing Clowns.
Divorcing Clowns. Well, I'm not going to ask you about your divorce, but I am sure that your poem is going to tell us all about your feeling from the divorce, while
Probably,
it was
yes.
happening, and how it affected you.
It affected me, but it affected my children much more. You know, when a couple divorce, they fight each other most of the times. And the victims are really not themselves. One loses money, the other one loses their house and some friends. The victims are the children
Absolutely.
who do not understand why is mom and dad, why are they fighting for each other? We love them both. How can we choose? It's very difficult.
No,
It's very
and
difficult.
unfortunately, children are meant, or they do choose sometimes, and that is very sad because both parents love them, and the love of a parent for a child is different from a parent to a parent. But the children never know that until they become parents themselves. Now,
If they become parents themselves,
if they
because it
become
affects
parents, yeah,
marriages that break up, affect the children who sometimes don't marry.
yeah, that's
They're afraid of it. They're afraid
of it
you
happening
know,
to them.
yeah. And we live in a time when commitments are not very, very, very popular. You know, marriage is like almost till death us do part.
It should
And
be,
sometimes
but it
it
isn't.
should be
I've
in
been
those
down that.
days.
I've been down that road twice,
Yes, so have I.
and
So have I, believe me.
I'm not looking for a third time. That's
No,
for sure.
neither am I.
You know what? It's just a piece of paper. But when you sign that piece of paper, it is such a commitment that it ruins it. It changed with
Yes.
me. The minute we signed the piece of paper, the marriage was over, and yet we'd lived together for some years.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've been down that road. David, what can I say to you? I don't want to say goodbye, but I do want to hear one of your poems. And I'm going to say goodbye to you. And I'm going to ask you if one day when you have got time, if you will come back on a cup of coffee just with poetry.
Anytime you want. All you have to do is call me.
Okay, that's fine. So I'm
Okay.
going
And I
to
write
say
in English and in Spanish, my poems. Eh?
yes. And
One of the advantages.
I am going to say very big advantage worldwide. I am going to say to you, thank you for being on Cup of Coffee. To my audience, my followers, and my friends, I'm going to say this poem is very special. I'm ending the program with David Bentata with one of his special poems. And take care. God bless. And David, I will see you again. But in the meantime, bye bye to David. And now let's hear him with that
Thank you.
wonderful voice.
Thank you. Divorcing clowns. I thought that breakup was the only way to set our lives on track, to free us from each other, to get our sanity back. Good choices, bad choices, no choices, who cares? Destiny, fortune, karma, who cares? To walk on the path paved with good advices, to leave all behind for an unknown that now rises. But divorce breeds only losers, except for the wigs and gowns. They milk off all our money from us, divorcing clowns. Along the way, we battled on, but did not see the harm on the minds and souls of children whose lives had lost all calm. Now they're grown up, all adult, experts at hiding their secret pain from battles never theirs that we fought, but without gain. Sorry is not enough, my children. The clock of life I can't turn back. Let me light the way with warnings so you don't lose your own life's track. And when your years are long, when all you sing are oldie songs, think kindly of this man. I never meant you any wrong. Thank you.
So, so beautiful. I was going to end it like that, but really, I need to say to you, that was a gem. It got into my soul, and I didn't expect you to give us a little tune with it as well. And as I've said before, I really would love you to come on Cup of Coffee and do just some poetry. And I will phone and ask you, and hopefully you'll be free to do it. So in the meantime,
With pleasure.
I say thank you really for everything that you have shared with us today. Take care. God bless. And to my viewers, I say bye-bye. And to David, un beso.
And anytime you want me to recite, I will do it for you.
And the next time I come to Gibraltar,
Call me.
Coffee for real.
At least. Okay?
Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
God bless.